I'm so excited to be here. We're so excited to be here. We got a bunch of people for this panel. It's going to be wonderful. We're just so thrilled. Thank you all so much for coming out to our panel for I Know That Voice. What we're going to do right now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm John DiMaggio. I'm the executive producer of the show. And also there was a vendor on Futurama and Jake and Lexicon and Aquaman and all sorts of wonderful stuff. I'm a very fortunate individual. We got some wonderfully talented people we're going to bring out in a minute. But first, what I'd like to do is show you a little premiere, a little preview of the film. This is never before seen footage of the movie, and we're going to show it. I think, right now. Let's get this thing started. First of all, Billy West, unfortunately, could not be here. But in his place, James Arnold Taylor. From Pinky and the Brain, Mr. Rob Paulson. And Star Wars Clone Wars, I call him the show stealer, D. Bradley Baker. You know him, you love him, he plays the sponge. Tom Kenny is here. More Emmys than God, Andrea Romano. The wonderful director and co-producer of the film, Mr. Larry Shapiro. The producer and extraordinarily wonderful man, Mr. Tommy Reed. This guy's kind of like my boss, the creator of Adventure Time, Mr. Pendleton Ward. You know him as the Hulk. Please welcome Fred Tatasciore. Okay, wonderful. All right, well, we're here to discuss the film. I mean, I suppose that we have some questions that need to be answered, so let's let them rip. Is there someone walking around when's it come out? Well, we're working on that right now. We're trying to get a distribution deal. Hopefully, what we're trying to do is get
Mr. DiMaggio.
Yeah.
Mr. DiMaggio, what did
What? We're trying to get that done right now. Hopefully, we'll just be able to have a release on iTunes, Amazon, VOD, video on demand, and that thing, and maybe have a really short release in theaters. But we want to get it in your hands as soon as possible, believe me. So that's what we're working on. Yes. Yes. Okay, yeah, folks, there's the microphone right in the middle. Don't rush. Don't rush. Don't rush. I know you have questions, but it's not that important. But you have to hurt other people. Okay, I guess the first question. Let him rip.
Are there any voices that, voices that you perform that hurt your voice by performing too much?
Me personally, sometimes you make a choice and it sounds like you're gargling concrete, and that'll be tough. And you guys have those kind of voices?
You know, I gotta say, one of the things about D, as you noticed on this clip of D manipulating his sinus cavities, he and Frank, I think you and Frank are the only two people, Mr. Welker, are the only two people who are able to literally manipulate your physicality to make oddball sounds, dude. How do you do that?
Them and Thuban monks.
Yeah.
You guys have better hair.
Oh, I'm sorry, was that a question? Yes.
Jump to that gentleman's question, yeah.
Yeah, it just, you know, I squeeze my face or my nose, and the things that I do usually feel actually very good to me.
You know, the thing is the important thing, if you, especially if you want to be a voice actor, don't get yourself in a box where you're doing a voice that is going to hurt your voice.
Yeah.
Because that's what we all try to do. We try to do something that we can do. Johnny Test is 11 years old, he's up there, and if I do that for 4 hours, I'm tired.
Yeah.
But I can still do it. So, and then, if I can't do it, that's why there's all these other people. They can do it. So don't try to get yourself into this, oh, I can do it, and kill yourself. That's not good.
Although, if I can say, like we all sort of have that, you know, we'll do stuff in an audition,
Right.
sort of thinking that we're never going to get the gig anyway, so you just go balls to the wall at the audition going, you know, I just want to bring everything, and then you find out you got the gig and you're like, oh, sure. Yeah. I'm going to have to do this for like a few more years, like a lot of guttural voices, like I don't have the scientific know-how that like Dee and Frank Welker have, so
You know, when you do something like Eduardo on Photo for Imaginary Friends like that, you don't think that you're going to be doing that for like a lot of years? And then there's whole episodes where he's just really terrified and screaming for 4 hours.
and they're going, Tom, are you okay? Do you need water? And you're going, no, I'm fine.
I'm dying, oh my God.
I don't want to lose the gig, you know?
I had an experience like that doing the recent pass of the Adventure Time game, and I had to play the Banana Guard. And my Banana Guard is basically an impression of Pendleton doing Lumpy Space Princess. It sounds kind of like this, you know? It sounds, okay, well, all right, fine. So I had to do that for like, and usually Banana Guard has maybe 1-2 lines in the show. I had to do that for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I felt like I was eating my own throat by the end of the time. So you have to be careful when you make that choice and dig into that.
I always ask actors when I'm auditioning them, how does that feel to your voice? Does that hurt your voice? Can you do that for 4 hours? Will it hurt? And they always go, no, it's good, it's good. And then we hire them, and then they get in the first time, they're like, okay, after 15 minutes, oh, that's really,
I did, I'm ready. Yeah.
I like to get taken bring you like good. Thank you very much.
we just want to please you, mother.
Everybody wants the gig. It's true.
It's probably the only macho thing about me, you know? Does that hurt? You're like, hell no, you know, but it does, you know? I just don't want to say it.
Okay, next question, sir.
All right, my name is George.
How you doing, George? All right. Looking for a job there? About 2 hours short here. You might be able to find one.
What's your question, my man?
You guys are great. I've been looking up to you guys for a long time. But what I'm wondering is how long, well, I'm sorry. You made this documentary to showcase all the wonderful talent you have in the industry. But when did you start, when did it for you guys start to change from just something that was just within the group that you guys did to kind of just this massive room filling?
You know, it's strange because Tommy and I were just talking about that, and you know, last year we were here shooting film and we were just trying to get this thing going, and now we're here with a completed product and a room like of 2,000 people or so. So it's, you know what, you just keep going and you keep talking about it and you keep getting more and more stuff and you finish your product and you just jump in and you get it done. I mean, that's.
Can I just add to that? I think part of it is I've been fortunate enough to do this a long time, and one of the things that we find out when we get to go to Comic-Con or other conventions or personal appearances literally around the world is that we all know that we're working because we've got a gig and we know the action figures sell, but then you leave the studio and unless you're at a party and you know they don't know who you are. But I'm telling you, once people find out, then it's Katie bar the door, and it's everything about it is lovely. And by that I mean that I don't care whether it's here with thousands of people or 50 people or 2 people. it's amazing how many people you run into around the world when you're able to be in this position and they know who you are, that it does nothing but make people happy. And often you find that the characters that we have had a part in creating have a profound effect on people, to the extent where it helps them get through bad times and all of that. So when Johnny and his buddies put together a movie and kind of get the feelers out there, it's a win-win-win. Everybody loves cartoons, and it just makes everybody incredibly happy on both sides of the issue.
And if you don't love cartoons, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
There's something seriously wrong with you.
Now, that being said, John, like, I mean, you know, here at Comic-Con, you know, it's one thing where you're running into people who, you know, they're saying, you know, you were my childhood, you worked me so much. I love this really obscure show that you didn't think anybody watched, but it was my favorite thing when I was a kid, and blah, blah, blah. And it really feels good. But you, I think, kind of wanted to bring voice actors to the fore, because really in the general world of show business, like big guys and big skyscraper glass offices, the journeyman voiceover people are really one step above the guy that sets up the tilt-a-whirl at the carnival. You know what I mean? Right? That's why it ties into that whole celebrity.
And I mean, we're the journeyman. We're the blue-collar actors that go to work and go, okay, here we are. What do we have to do? Oh, you need that? Got it. You need that? Got it.
Yeah,
You need that? I don't have it. He's got it.
Right.
Bring that guy in.
Really important.
Because that guy can do everything.
We're like the Robert De Niro character in Brazil.
Yes.
We come in on a little zip line and we fix it real carefully and we hop and we're out. That's it.
I was almost late to my own panel today because I had to go work for somebody I'm not supposed to say. Guess who? Who's the guy that says don't talk about the project until the project's out for a week?
Everybody.
Well, this guy has a...
President of show business.
I'll give you a hint. More than meets the eye. Anyway. And so, yeah, I'll keep it as vague as that. I had to go to Escondido. And then come back here. I had to be in Escondido at 3 o'clock. That was like... I made it. But that's the kind of thing that we have to do, and we're proud to do it. We don't mind, because we love juggling. Sir, in the Batman shirt.
Hi, I'm Taylor, and first of all, I just want to thank you for giving me a childhood. Seriously.
Thank you.
Love all of you. My question is actually for Ms. Romano. I want to know how you do it. Like, basically, almost all of my favorite cartoons were cast by you. You found some of the most amazing voice talent that I've ever seen, that I just love those voices, and, you know, I just can't believe, like, that you're responsible for, like, all of those, you know? Like, I see your name in all the things I love, and I'm like, wow.
It's very easy on the eyes, too. I don't want to tell you.
I'm very fortunate. I've had a wonderful ride in this career, and I had no idea this is where I'd end up, is working in voiceover. But what I try, aside from having very specifics as to what are required for certain characters and what kind of voices you have to have, I always keep in mind the fact that I'm going to spend at least 8 hours a day in closed-in, dark rooms with these people. And so, who should I put in there? Someone who is fun and talented, or someone who's a jerk and talented? Fun! So I surround myself with people like this, and
why did you choose John DiMaggio?
You don't want to piss off Bender.
Or Jake Dog.
Thank you for your kind words. Very nice of you.
She really is the best,
Yeah.
though. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
she's
when
not
you
the best.
when
You don't
realize
understand.
you're doing something.
I'm sitting here looking at this panel that we put together, and I can't fucking believe it. I mean, everybody is just amazing on this.
And I always wanted to be Billy West.
Yeah,
Now,
that is.
yeah.
Hey, Bender, I'm working on my Billy. You know, the thing is, that Billy's kind of, it's really good.
Right on the money, man. Zoidberg. I'm doing my Zoidberg. Zoidberg. Everybody loves Zoidberg.
The thing is Billy West is like, I'm 5'4", and Billy West is about my size. And Billy was a guy that said, you can do that. You can be big. You can sound big. And I watched him one day. We were doing a table read for something that never came out. And he was finding these places, with pockets in his voice. And I went, oh my gosh, it's like when someone unlocks an impression for you. Once Jay Moore did Christopher Walken, everybody knows.
Very bad impressions of Jeff Bennett's perfect one.
Yeah,
No, in fact, last night, you showed Mr. Clancy Brown. Yesterday I had Clancy on my podcast, and he was talking exactly about what you were talking about. And he mentioned you and Corey Burton, and Dee specifically, the fact that, that your physicality belies all this stuff that you do. And I think even the movie, John, doesn't it kind of start with Corey's voiceover, and you pull back to see Corey Burton, who's this big. I love that about this thing.
He's got this commanding voice.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's machete.
He's that guy. And he's like, he's 110 pounds soaking wet. It's unbelievable.
Great stuff.
Well, speaking of more than meets the eye, like Peter Cullen is probably the ultimate guy. And then you meet him and you're like, oh, hello down there. I really enjoy your work, And it's like you said, the physicality belies the sounds that they're making. It's like a really cool magic trick. You know what I mean? It's like watching somebody do like close-up magic where you go, how did you do that, man? I have my eye on the coin. Where is it? It's like,
all right, let's get to some more questions. We got a line. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, that's good. First of all, respect all of you greatly and deeply, just like everyone here. Andrea, the Batman the Animated Series cast is one of the all-time greatest casts for a series ever. So my question is, it's for both Andrea and Pendleton Ward. When in the auditioning process, do you have a specific voice for a character when you're auditioning, or do you listen to a voice and go, oh, it's that character? So was it when John DiMaggio auditioned for Jake, did you guys go, oh, that is totally Jake?
Yes, John is so funny and so awesome to watch.
But I'm an asshole. Don't worry about it.
The other day, I think he was just saying, some of the lines of dialogue were like, did you notice that we're birds now? And we're birds, and he can turn the most boring piece of dialogue into the funniest thing you've ever heard in your entire life. And I was just sitting back on the couch and getting to watch that happen. And that's what the audition was like. I wrote some words down, and John came in and said them, and made him amazing. So that's how it goes.
It's different for every project. For Batman the Animated Series, since you mentioned that very one, I probably listened to well over 500 auditions just for the voice of Batman over a long period of time. And then we called back 120, so I read 120 personally. And we had 4 or 5 that we thought they could do it. Okay. And then Kevin Conroy walked in the room and opened his mouth. And I went home and drank a bottle of wine. My job was done.
By the way, Kevin is in the documentary as well, so.
So it's always different, the casting, and interestingly, Gordon Hunt, my mentor from Hanna-Barbera years, told me this statistic, and it's true, I've found over the years. Statistically, the first person to audition gets the job. It's the most bizarre thing. Maybe it's because it's the first person I thought of for the role, so that's the first person I gave the time slot to. But it's not absolute, but statistically, more often than not, the first person who auditions gets the role.
I gotta stop being late for shit.
I hear you, brother. I'm gonna be working a whole lot more. Made it on time.
Thank you very much.
nice.
I'm sure.
You got the tail, baby. Oh, yeah. Tail.
There's a joke about getting a piece of tail, but I wouldn't even start to go.
What's your question?
Yes,
I'm Sydney, and
Hi, Sydney.
Thank you. Hello. And as an aspiring voice actor, can you give me a job? No. I was wondering if you had any advice for someone who is thinking of going into this.
Listen to this man right here.
Yeah, actually, check out what these got to say.
I do have some advice. Because we're asked this kind of question all the time, and over the past year, I made a website just for you. And for anybody who is interested in voice acting or becoming an actor, and you don't have to sign up for it. It's free, but it's everything that I've learned from that. And it's not the only place to go, but it's a good place to go. It's called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. That's it. And you just go there, and it lays it all out.
It does. It's all excellent information. It's timely information. And one of the things that you get now from these folks up here today, and with respect to the movie and D stuff, is that you're getting information that's real time. That is to say, D, came from a job, gives you information, and he's going to another one. He's not trading off of work years ago. It's good stuff.
And Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt.
Platt,
Voiceover voice actor.
Also, for those aspiring voice actors, I don't know if you guys know this, but on our website, on knowthatvoice.com, we have a cartoon imitation contest. And the winner will get a signed poster by, I think, just about everybody in the film, and a DVD as well. So please go to iknowthatvoice.com. And
And also,
be sure to do that, James.
And also check out Rob's podcast, because he interviews. It's great.
It's true.
It's Talking to His Live.
Actually, I'm doing Rob's podcast next week, so check that out.
It's free. Lately, it's on camera, and he interviews and talks to all of us about our careers and how we work and how we came here. And you can learn from each and every one of us. It's free. And you can learn directly from the horse's mouth. How to get going, and just you start to get an idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Sydney. Good luck.
And something else, so just study acting as much as you can. That's really the main thing. It's voice acting, and hear yourself recorded. Try recording yourself and study dialects and things like that.
By the way, before we move on, can I just ask Fred? You do this because I'm just a fan. I'm a geek. Fred. I really have not had my fix of Jimi Hendrix today. Would you do a little Jimi Hendrix?
All right, baby. Here we are with the Comic-Con, baby.
So first off, again, thank you for the childhood. DCAU, best superhero thing ever, bar none. Better than Watchmen. And second, when you guys have characters in the same scene together that you play, what's it like to talk to yourself?
It's fun when the drugs kick in. No, it's a challenge. I mean, you were talking about Billy before.
Oh, Billy is amazing.
Billy West. I've seen Billy on Futurama do 3 pages of dialogue alone.
I've seen him do it where he overlaps himself. I don't know how he does that.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. He showed me how to do it. So I mean, it's hard. You really have to focus. But if you're focused and you're on a roll, it can be sweet. It can get good to you, baby. Oh, yeah.
I did a fair amount of talking to myself in Clone Wars. There would be episodes where it's just...
He was every single clone on that show. I'm serious. He's the voice of... I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's every clone. It's like, I got it easy. He's
Rex and Cody and all of them. But the key to it really is because it's a specific adjustment in acting. And so long as your idea is clear of the characters that you have, you can just jump right over from one to one like you're jumping from a rock to rock in a stream. And you can do it very nimbly so long as your idea is super clear. And that's being a good actor. That's having the clarity of that vision in your mind so it comes out of your mouth. It seems like magic. but because all the internal work is set. That's how that works.
And you know, Andrea, I was wondering, like, with that, because we all, do you know, like, some people like, okay, I know this guy can do it, and other times you'll have people just then stay into one character and then jump to the other. Is it-
There are some people that it's not so much that they can't act against themselves,
Right.
it's that they lose the voice a little bit.
Right.
So we'll go through an entire scene and I'll read their other character for them, and they'll act all the way through one voice, and then we'll run through the scene the other way and I'll play the voice they just did, and they'll play their other voice so that they can have the chance to just stay in character. But this particular skill that you talk about is key in casting. Because I cast people because they have the ability to do that skill. They can act against themselves, and not just the acting aspect, but they can keep the voices distinct. One doesn't bleed into the other and suddenly they become this homogenized, similar voice. They're still distinctly different voices. And there are some series, Dee and I did Ben 10 for years together, and I think there was one episode where you did, I want to say 17 different voices. I'm not kidding, 17 different voices in the same cartoon. Same 22-minute episode.
I've witnessed
17.
that. I saw that. I've seen that. And we always look at D like, dude, you are getting paid. And he just goes,
sorry. Because they get you for like, what, 3 voices? Yeah.
3 voices. And one additional voice gets you a bump.
Yeah.
So he's got 17. That's a big ass bump, baby.
Thank you for your question.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you.
I have a question. May I?
Yes.
I want to ask the gentleman who made this film.
Yes!
How many people did you guys interview? Because I know you interviewed actors and agents and sound engineers and all different kinds of people. But tell us a little bit about the different kinds of people and how many people you interviewed.
yeah, don't screw it up, Larry. Is it on?
See, he's not a voice actor.
He's not a voice actor.
And that's all I have to say about that. So we did over 100 interviews, 150.
Wow.
They were at least an hour long, if not longer, but they went by so fast. Each one was amazing. They were like master classes, really. The question about how do you learn about this craft, try to make a movie about it, and you'll learn a whole lot. We interviewed directors like Andrea here, and I learned just how much goes into coaching voice actors, and I don't know, I'm trying to draw a blank here. I'm not used to talking to this many people.
We'll do your voice for you.
What we tried to do is really cover the whole voiceover industry for everyone who doesn't really know what goes on behind the scenes. And the documentary started in October of 2011, and for a good year, we had to wait to get these talents in the opportunity to interview them, because it just takes so long, everyone's busy doing stuff and everything. So to actually wrangle 150 people was a very difficult task, and it was even more so trying to get it down to a movie that can entertain, enlighten, and inspire all you guys. So right now, I think that we have it right under 90 minutes, and we basically cover everything that we think from Mel Blanc, the start of radio voiceover, to today's video games and the powers of Comic-Con. I think we pretty much cover it all.
Anime we cover.
Yeah, like 160 hours worth of footage to 90 minutes.
I think the biggest thing we cover is just the evolution of the art form and how it's grown so much from just like radio plays back in the 40s to a highly evolved art form today that just is complemented with technology. It's just an amazing art form.
I've never seen a documentary like that. About that. I've never seen that.
Well, you will. Now you can. As soon as we get a distributor.
Do a Kickstarter.
Yeah, right? Kickstarter.
By the way, wearing a t-shirt that says "Keep Calm and Voiceover On." Did you notice that?
Keep calm and voiceover on?
Yeah, baby.
That's pretty cool.
What's your question?
First off, my name is Craig, and before I get started, I just want to say thank you guys very much for making my childhood not only full of light, but full of color, happiness, and all sorts of fun.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Ultimate compliment. Thank you.
And this one is for Ms. Romano over here. On top of being an aspiring voiceover artist, I'm also planning to become a casting director myself. What is your #1 advice before I go on and embark on this journey?
Cast yourself a lot.
Right, just make sure that your dental and your health is paid off by putting yourself in like a talking egg in a movie or whatever, and then you've got your stuff paid for. Yeah.
Only listen to the first audition. That's it.
So your question is, what do I suggest as far as becoming a casting director? Is that
Yeah, in order to be a good one, someone at your
I'll tell you. Create an environment for people when they come in to audition for you that is comfortable, that they feel safe, that they can create, that they can make an absolute fool of themselves, because that is in fact what we're paying money for, is for people to be foolish. And supply everybody, talent-wise, with as much information as you can, so by the time they walk in the door, they've done their homework. They've seen the character design, they've read the description, they've looked at the script, or the copy that they're given. But that, I think, is key, so that by the time people get in front of me, they're well prepared. But that issue of having a comfortable space where people feel like, can I try something else? Of course you can try something else. Just dive in and do it, but do it fast, because there's 30 other people waiting. But I think that's key, is providing a safe environment.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck.
I appreciate it.
Good luck. Thank you.
Rob Nelson? Rob, how's your microphone working?
Mine? Cutting out. But hire me all Angelus, and now can microphone doesn't work? I'm Kenny, his is fine, Adley Baker, but my ass. Shucks.
Next question. Hi, I'm Grayson. I was wondering, do you have fun doing roles that are kind of outside of your own norm? Like, John, you play kind of characters that have a similar voice and are kind of, funny, but you also did the Joker in Under the Red Hood, and you and everyone else there, kind of has fun breaking from the norm.
Oh, absolutely. The more we can break from the norm, the more fun it is. The more of a challenge it is. That's what you want to do as an actor.
Yeah.
You want the challenge. You want to be able to challenge yourself to get to that place. And that's always a thrill. That's the thrill of acting. To be standing on the edge of it. You're like, and there's a thrill in that. As far as creating the character is concerned. So it's always, I mean, at least that's the way I feel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, one of the things that I like the most, and virtually, everybody, including Andrea, has a theatrical background, has a show performance background. And the great thing about this is not being limited to being an average-looking white guy, one of the things that I get hired for. And I love the fact that I am hired for things with my voice that I would never be considered for on camera. So, yeah, that's great. I agree.
I get the opportunity to, just whip out my Tracy Morgan every once in a while, and it works. I'm telling you right now, John DiMaggio is my cousin. we got the same heart. You get to play. That's it.
There was, and when you book something, when you book something that's outside your usual comfort zone, like I usually play this kind of guy and this kind of guy and sometimes this kind of guy, but then sometimes you'll just audition for something that's really outside the box what you usually play, and that's really fun. But then when you book it, you almost feel like you got away with something.
Yeah.
I feel like I conned somebody. You know what I mean? Like a great short con on the boardwalk.
Well, D was like that with Clone Wars. I remember it was like...
It's actually it's inverted for me, because I felt weird doing a normal role. Yeah, the clones were really straight ahead normal, and I had never done that in a show, and it felt very odd. I never would have thought to cast myself as that, and it felt really odd at first to do that. But you know, happily with voice acting, you get a chance to stretch those acting muscles much further than you ever would be able to on camera, I think.
3 words, Klaus the Fish.
Unbelievable. Extremely high,
And that's a great example of you going in there and giving them something different than what they were looking for, right?
Yeah, exactly. You don't always give them exactly what they say they want, because maybe what your understanding of it is better than what they think they want. Klaus the Fish, An American Dad, was originally written as a French fish, and I auditioned him as a German fish. It was like Francois the Fish, and you know, bonsoir and all this, but my version of it, which I liked better, was as a German fish. And so I gave them that, and they tried to recast me, and I said, I'm still not going to read it as a French fish, and so they kept me. So sometimes, the lesson for me is that sometimes you really got to stick by your creative guns, and if you go down in that battle, then you do it for the right reason, but you give them your best, and not your second best, but you give them your best. And if they don't like it, that's fine. But stick with that, and that'll get you somewhere.
It's every time he does the German accent, I feel like I've watched German porn and I need to go take a shower.
Wir machen alles zusammen.
You notice we all kind of glitch.
Yeah, we're all like,
Love that so much.
Do it again.
You're freaky, dude. Next question, please.
Okay,
Sure.
I don't know when the last time any of you actually recorded a demo, but when you went in to record your demo, did you have everything planned out, like every character you would read and every word you would say, or would you just go crazy and play the whole time?
You know what? Your demo should only be about 90 seconds, tops.
Or less.
Or less, maybe even 60. Do stuff in short, have stuff in short bursts, have them completely contrast, like between each voice, between each character that you do.
Not just in voice, but style, too.
Yes, exactly. And less is more. Nobody has time to listen to a 5-minute demo. You know?
And it's got to show you can act. It's not just do a funny voice. It's not just doing a funny voice. It's
Or
showing you can
imitating
act.
other people too. You don't necessarily want to just do a popular voice. You want to do ones that are your own too.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to put a demo together for 22 years. I've never had one. It's like,
That's because you are bad, mother.
There's enough stuff out there. Just go listen to it, and if you don't like it, don't. You know, it's okay if you don't like it.
There's a lot. I've heard a couple of demos in my. You mentioned short bursts, and there's some value to that, but there also, it needs to be, each clip needs to be long enough that we can tell that you can sustain the voice. Because I've heard very, very good short clips, brought that person in, asked them to do some copy in that voice, and they're good for a line, and then the voice just goes away. So it needs to be long enough that I know that you can do it, and really key is acting. Great that you can do, if you can only do 3 voices, if you're great at them, and you can act really well, you'll get work doing those. You don't have to be able to do 37 voices, 150 voices. Nobody can do 150 voices. But, I think it's not
so modest.
Dialects, if you do dialects, 1 or 2 on your demo. If you sing in character, because that's really important. You may have a great legitimate voice, but you can't sing as that tiny little French mouse that you're playing in that voice, so you need to be able to sing in character. And I'd say, my guess is that will take 90 seconds. You will ultimately, once you get an agent, need a 60-second clip which goes on Voice Bank, and that's what everybody will listen to, that goes in to just get a sample of your voice. And anybody will listen to 60 seconds. But having listened to a million demos in my life, I'll tell you, after about 60 seconds, it does start to just, the interest wane.
It starts to turn into a fart.
And smell like one.
Yeah. But after that amount of time, 60 seconds, it's not that you're disinterested or that you're going, it's like you
I know.
have the wherewithal to know,
Right.
I think I can hear this person's range of what they can do. Like,
Exactly.
you've heard
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's totally valid.
And my point about that is, don't save the best stuff that you do till the end of your demo. Make sure that you start with your strongest stuff. Because the first voice usually gets cast. Mark my words,
Thank you, good question. Next one, please.
Hey, first I hope you bring film to Australia because it's very hard in my country to get good films. The main question is if you guys are starting to get a bit more respect now than what you would say 15, 20 years ago.
You know what? Anybody?
I think it's cool now because of the video games and all of the things that technology is bringing out. There's more of a relevance to it. People want to know who does their favorite character because their favorite character is no longer someone on camera. And I think that adds to it, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of respect, I've never felt disrespected because I've been paid handsomely for my work, irrespective of whether or not people recognize me. However, you know, we all started doing this not so much for money, but because it felt great and we couldn't not do it. And whether it was your relatives or some girl you had a crush on that you were hanging upside down in the monkey bars for, it's very, very lovely when people, you know, go out of their way like this to tell you how much they enjoy your work. And certainly as a result of the stuff like James was talking about, DVD extras, podcasts, events like this, Johnny's movie, it's happening a lot more. I think also part of it is just being around long enough. I mean, many of us have been doing this a very long time, and when you're in some sort of social function and the question comes around to what you're doing, and they get really, all of a sudden the fact that a guy's a CEO of some organization, you're like, dude, you're Raphael, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And so that is really lovely, yeah.
Hopefully we'll have the movie down in Australia soon after we have the movie out here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I'm going to be in Australia next year, I think.
I was just there 10 days ago, and it was fabulous.
Oh,
Yeah.
You could have saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. You didn't have to fly away here.
Let me just tell you, I had the fairest of dinkum about 4 times there, bro. It was excellent. No, your country is lovely.
Yeah,
and the
no,
people
seriously.
there-
If you ever have the chance to go to Australia, go.
Oh man, it was
Freaking
lovely,
awesome.
and the people at the convention could, again, everybody up here.
They're like,
was-
you guys with accents!
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing ever!
You're upside down.
They're a day ahead of us.
Oh, that's freaky, going over there.
Hey, I ain't getting in no time machine.
Hey, Johnny, just to follow up on that briefly, you know, I think that's true what you're saying, like movies like this and video games and people, you know, it's kind of a viable job description that people go, oh yeah, I've heard that people do that, as opposed to they used to go, what, you can really do that?
Yeah.
But that being said, not 3 days ago, the mom of one of my kids' friends, who was picking up her kid at our house, said, can I ask you something? And I said, yeah. And she said, you and your wife are so talented. You do all these great characters and everything. I hope this doesn't come across the wrong way, but why do you think you haven't moved up to on-camera acting?
I was at a session.
But I think that's, you know, and I don't think she's like an evil person or anything. She wasn't trying to be offensive. But I think that there's almost like there's this career path that's supposed to be the one that you're supposed to want. And it's supposed to be your face everywhere and you on People magazine and you know what I mean? And if you don't have that, you're somehow, it's a consolation prize or it's not the best career to have. Where, you know, I
just
wouldn't
don't wanna
trade my
become-
career with anybody. I wouldn't trade, I wouldn't trade.
I just don't want to become Miley Cyrus. Exactly. I'm afraid that's what I will become. I don't want to do that.
Well, you know, I gotta tell you though, I've seen you.
You're a little perkier. I was at a session though where they said, the producer said, yeah, in a while we're going to bring in the real actors. And
I've had that said to me.
And I was like, wow, that sucks.
I've had that said to me.
They don't say that shit to me. I'm not. Bender's cursing. That makes me so mad. You're so lucky I'm not your neighbor, because I would have come over and been like,
Yeah, I was trying to. I I want you and your daughter to get the hell out of my house!
But say it in a funny voice.
But I understand what she's saying. This is somebody that's not in show business. This is somebody that's not in show business. All she knows is what she sees on Entertainment Tonight or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? But see, that's the beauty of it, because that's why we made it.
That's why we made the movie. So people can understand that. We don't need it on camera. Sorry.
Oh my God, you don't think I'm an actor? What are you saying to me? It's really hard when I do it, and I think I'm an actor.
He looked like he had to poop right there.
I did have to.
The point is if you didn't see him, you wouldn't know that was a guy or D. Bradley Baker. That's the beauty of it.
I hope that answered your question, that rambling 15-minute answer. Good night, Nick. Thank you. All right, next person.
Hi, everyone. Questions for Rob.
Yeah.
I think it's great that you were Raphael first years ago, the first Turtles cartoon. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. I see your T-shirt. You're clearly a man of impeccable taste.
I ran into Kevin Eastman by chance last night, had him sign some stuff. That was great. And you're Donatello on the new Nickelodeon show, which is
How
great.
about that? Thank you. And it's directed by none other than Andrea Romano.
Wow.
How about that?
You're your own brother.
Yeah, what's that?
You're your own brother.
I am. I want to beat myself up. Well, wait, did you have a question, or are you just going to be just really lovely and tell me more about how great I am?
But questions more Animaniacs related? If you don't mind, if you have the time, could you do the Countries of the World song?
Do one verse.
Okay.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic, Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Canada, Canada, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Guatemala, Bolivia, Venezuela, Costa Rica, Belize,
Thank you for asking. Thank you very much.
We have time for one more question.
What was the sixth one in? You had me at Burundi.
Boy, any longer that line, I would collapse.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Anyway, question for all of you. Have you ever worked with any voice actor with autism?
Not that I know of. No.
No, sir.
Because truth be told, I'm an aspiring actor and I have autism.
Well, good for you, my friend.
Maybe one day we will be in the booth together.
That's right. I hope so.
Awesome.
Hey, actually, without naming names, Dee and I were just thinking of an actor that we know that is very definitely on the spectrum. So yes, it is possible, and we'd love to be working with you.
Yeah, actually one of the very best.
One of the very best has said to me in my podcast that he has been diagnosed with Asperger's, which is in that spectrum.
And he's brilliant.
He's brilliant. So obviously you're a courageous young man in any respect, and the fact that you're sharp enough to come out here and tell us about what your plans are, God bless you, man. Good for you.
We have time for one more question. You made it.
The answer is 3.
Just want to say you guys are really awesome. So you guys, in the movie, the voice acting movie, will you guys feature anime voice actors?
Total?
Such
Anime
as
voice actors.
Anime voice actors, yes. We do have anime voice actors in it.
Steve Blum probably is in it, right?
Kari
Waldron,
Tara,
Steve Bloom,
Terry Waldron, Howard
Gary Lowenthal is in Bleach.
Gary? I'm not sure There's Robin Atkins Downs. Gosh, who else? There's so many. There's
You'll
so
just
many.
have to see it.
Just check the website. I tell you what, this is the story. We have to go. We're very sorry.
Let me just say one thing, John.
Yes.
I just want to say that getting to make this film was a chance of a lifetime, and I'll never forget it. And I really want to thank all the people at this panel. It really is a dream come true, and just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.